We break the law every spring. We break the law. They told me, said, your father got ducked today. If you have a bowl of soup, you are under arrest. You are under arrest. I'm taking your gun. I'm taking your shotgun. And they took all these guns. That's what we experienced, our parents did.
The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and the Alaska Department of Fish and Game are joining together to reconcile an unhappy period of Alaska history. Both agencies had a role in implementing Migratory Bird Treaty Act regulations in the 1960s and 1970s. The act was signed into law in 1918 to stop commercial hunting and to protect and restore bird populations. The treaty set a harvest closure for birds and their eggs between March 10 and September 1 across North America. In some parts of Alaska, the harvest closure period was the only time that the birds were present, and when birds arrived in spring, people's food caches were often empty. People were hungry.
That's what we ate. We ate ducks in the springtime, you know. And everybody ate ducks in the springtime.
So Alaska Native peoples continued to hunt birds to feed their families and carry on a traditional way of life.
Not everybody is hiding, you know, but my mother did, to the point where I had to ask her many years later, Mom, how come you're always hiding when you're irrachucking ducks? She said it's because of the game warden and the reputation that the game wardens had on our people to not hunt, not fish, which meant not be Inupiaq, which meant not be Yupik, which meant not to be our way of being.
The Act's implementation caused hunters and their families extreme hardship in their pursuit of sustenance. Congress finally amended the Act in 1997, allowing for the spring and summer harvest by rural Alaska residents. Over the years, Alaska Native leaders and hunters have educated agencies about the spiritual connection, the intricate and vast knowledge, and the profound stewardship that Indigenous peoples have with migratory birds. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and Alaska Department of Fish and Game together want to acknowledge that those regulations harmed hunters and their families. The agencies seek to continue rebuilding relationships with Alaska's Indigenous peoples who were affected by the unintended consequences of past harvest regulations. Together, we can all support healthy bird populations, traditional ways of life, and sustainable harvest opportunities for generations to come.
I went home and I cried all night thinking about my mother. And so I went to work the next day. I'm sure my eyes are all pivot swollen, you know, from thinking about my mom and her having to hide just to feed our family, and how much resentment, not just for me, but for Alaska's Native people, and the opportunity for us to really work together and acknowledge and heal